All right, folks, good afternoon on this Thursday. You're watching Cranston PD Live. It is Juan. We are riding this afternoon with Sergeant Parasol. It's Thursday, a little muggy out, still a lot of snow. Might I ask, we just...
So right now, usually what I like to do is take a ride over here. We had a homeless encampment. I don't know if you can see in the woods right there. There's nobody there now, but you can... I just like to drive by because right on the other side of this berm is the bike path. And, you know, a lot of people walking around and a lot of businesses over here that could cause a lot of problems. If we walked through the woods right there, you'd see there's trash everywhere. A lot of the trees are charred because when it gets colder, you know, some of the people, they'll light a fire in there, and which could get extremely dangerous. But so all the trees in there are charred and burned up, so but there's nobody over there anymore. We've managed to...
I had heard about that. People were telling me there was this, so that was it kind of during the summer into the fall?
Yeah, it's been
consistent.
I'd say probably over the last year.
Wow.
And what I'm doing right now, especially this time of year, just take a ride through our shopping areas.
Sure.
You know, they get very busy. This here is the known as the Garfield Plaza. Very busy area. Sometimes we get shopliftings, motor vehicle accidents in the parking lot. Sometimes tempers get a little flared. So sometimes just our presence will quell some of that.
Sure.
But with it being so close to our police station, I like to take a ride through here, right at the beginning of the shift, throughout the shift.
The holidays, there's different types of crime during the holidays, and maybe even it alters behavior.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like there's a lot of pressure on people this time of year. A lot of money being spent, you know. Sometimes times are tough. That can cause a lot of stress on people, so.
Holidays can be tough. Police deal with a lot of people that are maybe dealing with some various problems of either winter doldrums or just some of the depression that comes around the holidays.
Oh, absolutely. We definitely see an uptick this time of year of people in mental health crisis, a lot of suicidal ideations, a lot of suicides.
Good.
But especially around this time of year, around the holidays, people get affected by the change in weather, the seasonal affective disorder. I know that Sergeant Corvesi had mentioned we have a crisis intervention team.
Yes.
Here in Cranston, I'm a member of that team, and we'll team up with people from Gateway Mental Health, CCAP, and other organizations to kind of coordinate resources for people who are in crisis, and it's helped the department. I know that people really appreciate it. A lot of times we'll go to a house and maybe the son will be in crisis, or the daughter will be in crisis, or sometimes the mother or father will be in crisis, but there's always somebody on the other end of that has been dealing with it for weeks, months, maybe even years.
Yeah.
And when they hear that the police, because when the crisis gets bad enough that they can't handle it anymore, we're always the first call. And when they know that we have resources that we can provide, people are so appreciative. So appreciative. It really meshes the first responder, which is us, with the resources that can kind of help and get them through to the end, where hopefully they can come out of crisis and live a good, happy, healthy life.
Now, you recently went through some training for that, correct? CNIT?
I did, yes. Yep, it was a week-long training, very good training. Some of the best mental health experts around the state partner with us, train us, and now by no means am I an expert on mental health.
You're not Dr. Phil.
No. But I kind of feel like what it taught me was we don't have to be, but as long as we can get people to the resources that are available,
Sure.
because they might not know about it. And if we can get them the resources, then I feel like we've done a lot more than police have traditionally done. Going back years ago when I first started, we didn't do any of this.
Right.
So it's a great program. I'm really glad that the Cranston Police have taken it on and really done a good job with it. Maybe just hang out in the middle of the road.
Have you had a chance yet to put some of it in motion, or is it like little stuff you pick up as you go along?
Yes.
G5, Old Corner, Brayton, Mass Reg, Williams 93597.
I actually had a former colleague of mine was in need of services, and not a Cranston Police colleague, but somebody that I knew prior
Sure.
to this job, and they were in need of services, and I just happened to be working that day. I was able to go over there, and it was good because when somebody's in crisis, you never know what could happen.
Right.
And I think just having a familiar face, it really brought tension levels down, and we were able to come to a great conclusion. And I followed up with CCAP to help try and get even more services, more resources, and so far so good. I don't know exactly where CCAP is. We don't once we've given the resources, we don't get involved with any of the treatments that they're in or anything like that. That's not really our realm, but it's also good to go out and get to know the mental health professionals that are working in our area, because prior to this they were just they were working in our area, and we didn't know them, they didn't know us, but
right.
Now we can we can kind of find that nexus between our similar
Another
clients.
resource.
Yes.
Folks, again, we were also talking before we came live of high-profile suicide out on the West Coast, the DJ with Ellen. I mean, that just sheds a little light, gives you indication of how many people are struggling out there.
Yeah, that's sad. My heart goes out to him, his family.
Maybe it just sheds a light, puts a light on it, that more people become aware.
Well, I can tell you, just in our city of Cranston, it affects everybody from the most wealthy, affluent people in the city to all the way down to every single person in the city could be affected by it in one way or another, either personally, family member, whatever it may be.
I'm just curious, folks, again, we're riding with Sergeant Parasol. Through the training, if there's someone that's listening, that's watching, and they are dealing with someone who might be difficult, what is the best thing? They should just contact the police to bring them into the situation?
I would say police intervention is really when the crisis point comes. The crisis gets to a point where it's uncontrollable otherwise. There are a lot of great mental health experts out there. CCAP in the city of Cranston, CCAP and Gateway Mental Health. If you just look up their number, they can really provide the services that are needed, the services that are available in the city. And that would be, if it's still manageable, police intervention would really come at a point where it's just uncontrollable, and someone felt that it may be dangerous, it may be harmful to themselves, it may be harmful to the person. We're there in case there's any kind of physical altercation or anything like that.
Or self-harm.
Self-harm, harm to others.
Pocket Pontiac have a report of a moving truck parked in the middle of the roadway facing the wrong direction. Pocket Pontiac.
Do you notice maybe some people a little on edge because of the holidays, because of the seasonal change, because of the, as you say, the pressure and everything going on right now?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The calls that we get are around this time of year. People tend to stay in their homes. There's a lot more close contact, where people are kind of feeling a little cooped up because it's cold and people don't want to be outside.
Right.
So it's the volume dips down a little bit because I think people get a little more cautious about calling us, as opposed to when people are outside. As soon as the warm weather hits, it's like we become very, very, very busy. Because then their actions are seen by a lot more people, and there's more opportunities to call. But right now, this
more
time
interaction
of year,
outside.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely.
One thing that's important to note is, there's a lot of quality of life issues that we deal with. A big part of our job is enforcing the law, and that comes along with locking people up and all the other things that you see. But a lot of what we deal with too is quality of life.
Yep.
I took a call from from one of our citizens just the other day, and she was complaining about motorcycles. Yeah, I know it's crazy to think this time of year, but it's, and if we have time, I'll go up there and show you people with these motorcycles. They're going down dead-end streets in industrial areas, and they're practicing doing wheelies and a lot of other dangerous things.
Wow.
But along with that comes the houses around there.
Yeah.
Have to listen to that constant engine revving. And it's really truly is, aside from being dangerous, it really is a nuisance.
Yeah.
It's
ruining their quality of life, the people that live there.
Absolutely. And what's going on is people throw their dirt bikes, four-wheelers on a trailer. They'll go into an industrial park and they'll say, hey, you know what, I really want to practice doing wheelies or burnouts and things like that. And I know it seems juvenile, but it's very dangerous. I mean, one of these people flips their bike. You could be paralyzed, dead, whatever the case may be, seriously injured, but the way the call comes to us is, hey, I don't feel like listening to, I'm trying to have my breakfast on Sunday morning, and all I can hear is motorcycles. And so
are the riders, are they cognizant that they're disturbing the neighborhood, or are they oblivious, or do they just not care?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
I think the initial thought is, hey, well, I'm in an industrial area, it's Sunday morning, nobody's going to come down here and bother me, I'm not bothering anybody else. But the reality of it is, what they're doing is extremely dangerous.
Yeah.
It's a city road, even though it's an industrial park, and it may be, it may not be very busy at that time of day. So I think initially they're not even thinking about the people in the neighborhoods who they're really disturbing.
Right.
So then, the call comes to us by a citizen who's pretty much at the end of their rope because they've been listening to it for the last 4 weeks.
Oh.
And
that would get old.
Oh, absolutely.
And what section of the city is this?
So actually, this is Plainfield Pike right here.
Oh, yeah.
This side of the road is Johnston.
Yep.
Our neighbors over here in Johnston, and this side of the road is Cranston.
Any interaction with Johnston law enforcement, Johnston police?
All the time.
Oh.
All the time. Yeah, we constantly have, this is a pretty busy, pretty well-traveled road.
Yep.
So a lot of times we'll get called mutually for motor vehicle accidents, or this right here is the Walmart Plaza. A lot of business in there. We get called for shopliftings, things of that nature. You see there's a gym there. A lot of business in there. And they get very busy this time of year, so we constantly get called. We'll get a shoplifter and they'll come out onto Plainfield Pike, maybe go over on that side of the road into Johnston, and Johnston Police is absolutely fantastic to deal with.
Who is it that calls? Is it the store owner, or is it like a good Samaritan that sees that that someone has shoplifted?
Usually it's the store.
It is.
Yeah, most of these stores have pretty advanced camera systems and loss prevention personnel that can monitor the whole store from a central area inside that store, and they'll call us.
What are they most of the time shoplifting?
It all depends. Shoplifting is one of those crimes. It's sometimes you'll get there and people are stealing.
Respond with fire. 227 Hyde Street, Ontario residents, change in mental status.
10-4, do we know which one?
I don't.
We'll actually just kind of float that way.
Yep.
So anyway, you know, the stores will call us.
Do they deny that they are shoplifting, or is it just a matter they did it, but you're going to catch them?
It all depends, really.
207.
So it's sometimes it's a crime of opportunity.
Yep.
Sometimes, you know, a lot of times we'll see people who might be stealing groceries.
212.
And those are the kind of people that, you know, your heart really goes out to. But a lot of times you'll see people stealing.
You check Hope Road from the area of the school, heading out on George Robert 561, a blue Lexus, bad driving habits.
You know, you'll see people stealing groceries, and your heart goes out to them. But then you'll see people stealing, you know, razor blades, you know, like and shaving blades, and frozen shrimp, frozen meats.
Wow.
Those things are just taken to other stores that will buy them from them for pennies on the dollar and sell them as if they're, you know, their own.
That's against the law.
Absolutely. Absolutely it is. So those are more crimes that you see people.
Fire.
Another big one is baby formula. People will steal baby formula, and that's another. They'll take that to a store. They'll sell it to the store for pennies on the dollar. That store will then remarket it because it's an expensive item.
It is.
You know, if you go to a store and you buy a pack of razors and, you know, 2 cans of baby formula, you're spending quite a bit of money.
Right. So they're not stealing it, Sergeant, to really use it. They're stealing it to then sell it to someone else.
Yeah, get a little bit of money, and a lot of times there's some addiction there, and they'll get that little bit of money, and they'll pay for whatever drugs they're into. So it all depends. I mean, you see what kind of, you can tell by what they're stealing what the motivation is behind the shopliftings.
And what section is this?
This is Western Cranston.
Yep.
Industrial. This is an industrial area over here.
We also have a report on Pontiac Avenue, right at 284 Park. Truck pulling a mobile office trailer.
Alright, so I'm gonna throw the lights on here and try and get through some of this traffic.
Folks, share that you're watching.
So right now there's an ongoing neighbor dispute between these people on Hyde Street. Police have been called there several times. Seems to be, it's just an ongoing issue between neighbors. So because of the volume of traffic right now, we're just gonna step it up, go a little faster. I don't know. That's it. This matter has gone on for a couple of years now, and
Wow.
it's tempers have flared several times. So usually when we get called there, we'll have a supervisor respond. See, sometimes when you're out on the west side of the city, you're pretty far away, and it takes a little time to respond.
It does.
Park Avenue, 1015 Owens. From the call, the male's being aggressive to them.
So, house is right up over here. The fire department's way.
Yeah.
See what's going on with them.
Folks, share that you're watching. This is Cranston PD Live. We're with Sergeant Parasalt on this Thursday. See, we already have some first responders here. Another officer on the scene. Oh, okay. All right, they're taking somebody out. Oh. Somebody's coming out of the house. All right.
So, seems to be more of a just a medical issue.
Okay.
So,
Well, they're taking
respect
someone
their
out, so.
privacy.
Okay, understood. 100%. Well, hopefully that person's going to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough time of year. Have loved ones be sick and. Penny.
Folks, good evening, everyone, on this Thursday. It is Juan. This is once again Cranston PD Live. This afternoon, we are riding with Sergeant Parasol. Share that you are watching. Some nice reflective pants.
Yeah.
It's the way to go.
Yeah. Tough to be seen out here at night, so.
It is.
So this is kind of the Budlong neighborhood.
Yep.
I like to take a ride through here. This is where we have a lot of our porch pirate larcenies, things like that. Especially this time of year. Seems like all year now, people are getting packages on their doorstep.
Yes.
You know, just be cognizant. You know, if you could just reiterate to your listeners, if you have any type of camera doorbell or any type of camera system on your house, it's always a huge help for us.
Is that another crime of opportunity? Or maybe
Yeah.
it's more sophisticated?
Again, I kind of feel like a lot of the arrests that we make in those situations, there's always kind of a nexus between drug addiction, thefts, things like that. And again, you know, it's easy. It was much easier before the Ring doorbells and all the camera systems that are out now, but right now it's if you have the means to get cameras on your house,
Right.
You know, you'd rather have them and not need them.
Yes. That makes a huge difference.
It's such a big part of the amount of crime that we're able to solve. And it's irrefutable.
Right.
There's a big difference when you go into a courtroom armed with a police report that are filled with statements that people give, renditions of or accounts of the incident, and that can change when people get to court. They testify, they remember something differently.
Right.
The
Tape
videos
is the tape.
The video's the video.
That's right.
So
Now, folks, Garden City area looks beautiful. Garden City gets more and more beautiful each year.
they've really done an amazing job. Made this a really, really nice shopping center.
804 Dyer Avenue, the CYO Center for the North Exit door.
So that's just a business alarm on our.
There's a lot of that, though.
Yeah, business alarms are a big part of our everyday call volume.
Oh.
You know, and they're very helpful.
70th and
Very helpful. The shopping center, especially on the weekends, gets extremely busy. Don't usually have a lot of problems here. Just the volume of people causes traffic congestion, things like that.
Nice crowd, though.
Very nice crowd.
Yep.
Very well lit down here.
Yes.
So that helps out. But
on the when we were last out, we were called to a someone was having some unpleasant thoughts, and when they arrived in the residence, he did have a loaded handgun right by the bed. That's a situation that could have gone very badly.
Oh, absolutely.
And Sergeant, it sounds like in that situation, I remember it was the person's friends that contacted the police to say this person's saying some dangerous things.
Yes. You know, and we're fortunate that the friends had the presence of mind to call us, let us know. We'd much rather see that than someone try to handle a situation like that themselves. You know, and luckily the person who was in crisis had the presence of mind to let a friend know. And you know, again, if you could let your listeners know, if you ever come across that where maybe you have a friend who's in crisis, don't be afraid to call us. And that's not just Cranston Police, any police department. We'll be more than happy to come out, make an assessment, at the very least, just render the situation safe. We'd much rather see that than see somebody hurt themselves, hurt somebody else. You see the volume of traffic.
Folks, busy night Thursday. Good that people are out visiting Garden City. Heavy rain expected for tomorrow.
17 radio check. Loud and clear. 17, we see. Got 17. 17. You're loud and clear. Thank you. Okay. That's okay. Yeah.
Has been maybe an uptick in DUI suspected because of all the holiday parties?
Yeah. So this time of year, it's the holiday parties are always a big factor in our DUI arrests. We do have targeted patrols that go out. I think a lot of people over the last few years have been utilizing Ubers and rideshare and designated drivers. I think there have been a lot of people that have become a lot more responsible with that. So let's just hope that trend stays on that trajectory.
Yep. Is that also an area that citizens, people that are watching, that it's helpful sometimes for someone on the roads to contact if they see a vehicle that seems the driver's impaired?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I always say, and a lot of the feedback that I get is, oh well, I didn't want to call the police. I didn't want to bother you guys. I mean, folks, bother us. That's what we're here for.
24/7.
24/7. One of the many things that I'm proud of at the Cranston Police is you call a lot of agencies, and not just police agencies, and what do you get? You get a machine.
That's right.
That's going to send you to 15 different departments.
Yep. No live person.
No live person. Maybe you get frustrated and you hang up. You call Cranston Police, you're getting a live person.
That's right.
And
they'll send out a live person.
And we make house calls still. One of the only agencies in the world, the police, we still make house calls.
Yep.
But I think being able to speak to somebody, and that's a lot of what I do when I'm inside at the sergeant's desk, doing my paperwork. We take a lot of calls from people who just don't know what to do with a certain situation. Anything from how to register their car to just to severe criminal matters. People call us and they get to talk to a live person. Sometimes we don't know the answer, but most of the time, I can tell you one thing: if we can help out, we will. Now that's the city of Cranston. I can't speak for other police departments, but we're more than willing to help in any way that we can.
With the crisis intervention training, are there things that people should avoid doing that would then just make a situation inflamed or worse? Like, are there do's and don'ts?
Yeah, a lot of times,
I'm curious what people, they think they're helping, but they're not helping.
183 Glasgow Street, Young Frank 803.
The best way I can say it is just if a situation's gotten to the point where you don't know what to do, just reach out for resources.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to call and get a police officer to come out. A lot of people, they don't want their neighbors seeing the police in front of their house.
Yep.
And that's understandable.
Sure.
We don't get offended. If we can help you out with a phone call, we will. The one thing I would just say is don't do nothing.
That's not an option.
It's probably not just going to go away if you bury your head in the sand. It's almost definitely only going to get worse. So just don't do nothing. The police may not be the answer for whatever situation you have going on, but if that's the case, there are a lot of other resources. But the police will be there if you call and you speak to a live person in Cranston.
Right.
In Cranston.
And you're saying a lot of times the crisis intervention training, it's to try to bring the temperature down, diffuse the situation.
Well, when we get called out as a first responder, so the way the program works, when we get called out as a first responder, we will we'll deal with whatever situation is in front of us at that time. That may require, depending on if a person is having suicidal or homicidal thoughts, that may require us to mandate that they go to the hospital to be seen. A lot of times that's what happens. But then where my team comes in, the CIT team, a few days later, we have an officer, Sergeant Afonso, who will put a package together for us to go and follow up with that person. Now we'll go and we'll follow up. We won't wear a uniform. It's very, very non-confrontational. But we'll be with maybe a therapist or whoever is responding out with us that day, and we don't wear our uniform. We're not in a marked police car. It's very non-confrontational, and we're there to assist the therapist, the caregiver, whoever, the gateway professional, members from CCAP, whoever is going to take over services for that person. We just assist them. And like I said, it's not confrontational at all. And most people are very receptive to it, because this is after the crisis. This is after we've responded out there for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like
domestic situations, sometimes difficult.
a lot of times they're very difficult. They're very dangerous. And what I find a lot is we get called to a situation, and there may be 5 years of history there. There may be 1 year of history. There may be 20 years of history. And it's finally gotten to the point where it's boiled over, and now we arrive on scene, and people want to explain all the things that have happened over the last 10 years.
Wow.
So we're just gonna, this is just a motor vehicle assist. I think somebody may have to get out of the roadway over here, so we're just gonna assist our officer here.
Folks, if you're watching, it is Juan.
Good luck, folks. So that was one of the cars that was involved in the accident. I guess it's disabled, so just gonna have cars follow us around. So in a situation like that, our of our city tow companies to come out, get them out of the roadway, and get everything moving. You see that?
Yep.
I want to make sure that stop sign. That's it.
Yes, sir.
G5 with Michael John 729. It's going to be Park Avenue at the Railroad Bridge.
Okay.
Folks, share that you're watching. It's Cranston PD Live. It is Juan. Sergeant Parasol.
How you doing, sir? Good, good. Good. Sergeant Parasol with Cranston Police. The reason I stopped you is I stopped. Yeah. All right. All right. Do you have your license with you? So your little guy back there? Yeah. Hi, buddy. Appreciate that.
I knew it. I was going through and I said, oh, I'm gonna...
Yeah. We all make
So
mistakes.
I was stopped over here and then it was blocking until I went around. And
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
as soon as I didn't stop, I was like,
Yeah, don't worry about it. All right, so I'm not gonna give you a ticket or anything, but just so you know, we have some racial profiling data that we have to fill out on every one of our car stops. So it's just gonna take me a couple of minutes, and then you guys will be on your way. You guys,
I know exactly what I did.
you guys going anywhere good? No.
Just got
Oh, nice. Did you have a good day at school, bud? Yeah? Nice. All right, I'll be right back. Catch that? Guy on the motorcycle with his middle finger up.
That's how loud that is.
So right now, I'm just
Who's with that motorcycle?
probably somebody who's not a giant fan of the police. Just driving by, sticking his middle finger up.
I think you're saying that we're number one.
He was just waving. He's just got a different way of doing it. So right now, I'm just filling out our racial profiling data.
Would you describe the driver as combative?
Oh, not at all. Not at all. You got to kind of look this time of year. People are in a rush. Everybody makes mistakes. It's and there's also a monetary factor. Somebody who's this time of year, people are spending money on Christmas gifts and things like that, and you never know what somebody's situation is. So when you have the opportunity to do something nice and give someone the benefit of the doubt, it's not always a bad thing. Oh, there's our buddy.
There he goes again.
Hey, buddy.
Folks, look at that flipping us off.
He'll probably come back.
Let's hope so. Isn't that an obscene gesture? Isn't that against the law?
Well, you know, if he's really got nothing better to do tonight, you know, I don't know, maybe go get a job, go to work, do something productive. But if you're just filled with that much hate, then all right.
He's telling us his IQ.
Right.
Folks, again, we're on Park Avenue. You're watching Cranston PD Live. We are riding this afternoon. Sergeant Parasol.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Yeah, 10-3, I'm going to be clearing. All right.
Careful.
Folks, you see the guy on the motorcycle flipping us off? Folks, send stars if you're enjoying our live coverage.
You are all set.
I know it doesn't. I know my son.
Yep.
Sometimes get out right. Daddy thought
But we all make mistakes, buddy. Yes.
That's all, sir.
Yep. Sometimes you can't spend too long on the iPad, you know? Are you ready for Santa Claus? Yeah, are you excited? Did you make a list for Santa this year? All right, sir. All right. Have a great night. Merry Christmas.
Folks, there we go. Please share that you're watching. Let's see if the idiot in the motorcycle comes back. Little toddler in the back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. All right. S8.
I see.
I'm 10-8. Can you put me on the camera?
Turn close, Sergeant.
Corey Local. Robert Lincoln 701.
So right now we're responding into
Hey, what was your
a
first
call
number?
for a female with suicidal ideations.
Oh, boy.
So Cranston Fire will be responding in with us.
Yep.
We'll meet up with our officers on scene over there.
Okay. I'm going to hang back on that one.
Okay.
Well, I'll follow you. It's like it's a consistent theme that's happening right now.
Yeah.
211-7 in SC. It came from fire 10A.
Yep. I guess the fire department is taking care of it.
Okay.
And, which hopefully that came to a good resolution.
Yes.
P10.
Can you put down the system?
That's fine. Good night, Teddy.
Folks, again, you're watching Cranston PD Live. It's the afternoon edition. It is Juan. We are riding along with Sergeant Parasol. We are right now at Park Avenue. Thought we'd try a little bit of a different day part. 4 to 6 can be busy. 3 to 5 can be busy in the afternoon.
That's one thing you just never really know.
Right.
A lot of times this time of day, I'd like to think that we can just prevent a lot of things just by being out here, being noticed, being visible.
Good deterrent.
Yeah. Yeah, that the gentleman on that car stop, was coming from picking up his son.
Mm.
I'm sure he travels that road every single day, and
Wow.
he made a mistake today, and hopefully, I'm sure he'll think twice the next time he goes and pulls up to that stop sign.
Yep. He better. Seems cold to be out on a motorcycle this afternoon.
Yeah, well, especially when your fingers are exposed like that. But,
All types.
sometimes you just can't sweat the small stuff.
No.
There's a lot more important things and a lot more important people out here to try and help and enforce.
Yes.
So,
Have you had situations where it's one moment it's quiet and then all hell breaks loose?
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's on the nights when that happens. That's usually exactly how it happens. It's never really a gradual explosion in calls. It's just happens all at once. A lot of times it'll stem from the same incident too. You may have a fight break out. Over here at the high school that
Oh yeah.
leads into this parking lot, and two cars are still having a road rage battle on the way down Pontiac Avenue.
Sure. Good.
G5 or Denny's on Reservoir with Adam Lincoln 113 also.
Careful.
210, please.
210's tank.
So Cranston Fire, they also get called out on self-harm calls.
Absolutely, yeah. They're a major part of helping us navigate those situations. They do a fantastic job, and if it's determined that someone needs to be transported to the hospital, that's what they do. And
203, how you making out?
Still here, one runway.
10-4. Is that the same one as 284 Pontiac?
10-4, that's actually where I am.
10-4.
209,
10-4, tell me.
You also notice an increase in the number of overdose type calls.
we get so many.
Wow.
So I'll tell you a quick story. We had implemented a new policy at the Cranston Police where we really started to ramp up the amount of checks that we do in our cell block. And we have a prisoner there. Myself and other supervisors check on them quite frequently. Maybe a month or so after the new policy was in place, and I went in the back and did a cell block check. And oftentimes, when somebody's in the cell block, they'll nod off or doze off because you're in there, you're staring at four walls, you got nothing else to do, so you fall asleep.
Yep.
The woman had fallen asleep, and one thing that I noticed was, and she was a heavier person. Hold on one sec. She wasn't actually asleep. There was
Oh boy.
the breathing that she was doing was very labored,
Huh.
and I noticed that. I opened the cell block door and immediately started to notice, she was definitely overdosing. Lips were turning purple.
Oh.
She had what we call the death gurgle. It's a very labored breathing. So
Wow.
I had my Narcan on me, called for rescue. Other officers who were my lieutenant at the time came in. And he came in, hit her with his Narcan.
Huh.
Other officers came in, rescue comes, they hit her with Narcan. Now they take her out to the rescue, and she's just starting to come to. Usually we'll hit people with Narcan, and it's relatively quick that the effects are noticeable.
Yep.
This woman was still
Wow.
gone. She gets out to the rescue. She finally starts coming to.
Oh.
And by now, our rescue personnel, they acted very fast. They got her on an IV. Now they're giving her Narcan through an IV.
Huh.
They transport her to the hospital. So just out of my own, just because I wanted to kind of see what happened with her, the next day I come into work, I call down to the hospital. She was still on an IV drip, a Narcan IV drip, the following day.
Oh.
So it was a large quantity of fentanyl that she had ingested, and she would have most certainly been dead if she wasn't in a place where she was being actively monitored. But That's how dangerous
Wow.
these situations are. But you know,
Good
she
thing
pulled.
you noticed
She
that.
pulled through. So, I mean, but that's one instance of just hundreds and hundreds that we've gotten this year.
Oh.
Not inside the station, but just
Right.
throughout the city.
General. What would happen if there's no Narcan?
I don't even know.
Yeah.
Julie.
Joy.
Miami. And 10, New Jersey. William 44. William Lincoln.
Yeah.
So yeah, and keeping up with, keeping an eye on our shopping centers
Oh.
throughout the season.
Yep.
This is Chapel View, another beautiful
Yes.
shopping center.
It's important for Cranston Police to be visible.
Yes.
Can fighting over parking spots holiday time?
5 Parker,
Oh, yeah.
Rhode Island, Frank Edward, 978.
Absolutely.
Have fun talking with one.
So right about now, it's 5:30. A lot of people are getting out of work. They're getting their checking off their Christmas list, their to-do lists, and that might mean you have to stop over here at Shaw's or Staples or whatever the case may be, and there's
203
hundreds of other people trying to check off their list as well. But it's one of our newer shopping centers. It's
Yep.
really, really nice.
Seems to draw a nice crowd as well.
Absolutely.
Nice clientele.
we've had some issues here, as you will with any. See if this guy wants to cross. Guess not. This store right here has had some trouble. We've had some smash and grab robberies over there.
Wow.
But
Well, high-end merchandise.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Very high end.
Again, the lighting is excellent.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is a beautiful shopping center.
Well laid out.
Yep. The Chapel Grill over here. Usually pretty busy.
Yep. well-lit parking, I'm sure that must make people feel better about going to and from their car.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Right down there to our left is where our new Top Golf is going to go.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So
That'll bring in more traffic.
Yeah. Yeah.
More time.
It sure will.
Maybe a little bit of a younger crowd.
Yeah.
Hopefully a law-abiding crowd.
Yeah. That's always the hope. But they seem to be doing a nice job. The structure's going up right now. You can't really see because it's dark out, but the steel beams are up there.
Oh,
So I'm sure it's going to be a beautiful place
wow.
once construction's done.
Hey, honey.
Definitely.
And we have the resources here in Cranston.
That's right.
We've got police, fire.
Hey, can you finish the full fire?
We welcome these businesses to come in and operate in our area.
But people want to be safe.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's right over here to the right.
Yeah, the golf done tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Then you have Harrington Hall not far from here.
Yes. So,
Can that lead to you need to have more enforcement because of it tends to be transient and the individuals in and out? Fair to say?
yeah, that's very fair to say. So, prior to coming back into our patrol unit, I worked in our special victims unit. I was a detective there, and one of our functions, it wasn't mine per se, but one of our functions in that unit was to monitor the city's sex offenders. And with having Harrington Hall here, it's on us to monitor all of the offenders that are living at the shelter. As you can imagine, being homeless, it's a very transient population. There's not a lot of accountability.
No.
So that unit is extremely busy, and they do a great job of monitoring all of our offenders with their yearly, quarterly, semi-annual registrations, monitoring. So, and back when I was in that unit, Harrington Hall was probably accounted for about 65 to 70 probably around 50% of our sex offender monitoring was in there. And so it's quite a task to
Yes.
keep an eye on that. But they do it, and everyone is one thing I can guarantee: everyone is accounted for. And when they're not, we put warrants out for failure to register.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah, that unit is very, very busy.
Sounds very fluid.
Yeah,
Very active.
it is. It is. I mean, aside from monitoring that, they're also investigating all of our sexual assaults, child molestations, all those types of crime.
That's the largest men's shelter in the state.
Yes.
Folks, again, good evening on this Thursday. You're watching Cranston PD Live. We are riding along with Sergeant Parasalt on this Thursday. Share that you are watching.
One of them. Clear.
Careful. Take a 1050 report in the lobby.
Now, this is also different. The Pastori Center is in Cranston, but that's actually state land. Right?
It is, yes. Yes. So, state police, they handle a fair amount of calls up there. And when they need assistance, they'll call over to us. They may have a lot of cars tied up, handling other calls. They'll call us to head in there, and because we can usually get there faster,
Right.
And then they'll come in and they'll handle whatever they need to handle in there. But and they do a fantastic job. So we help them as much as we can. They help us. They help us out a lot. So we've got a great working relationship.
Hasn't been a prison break in a while.
No, they.
Thank God.
The corrections department does a fantastic job over there. We've had some trainings with them, and they're just a massive organization over there. I'm not sure how many correctional officers that we have over there, but very, very big, and they're very well run. They do a nice job.
It's not easy.
No.
It's 24/7.
Oh, I'm sure it's very, very challenging. They've got a lot of challenges over there. But
It's tough during COVID.
I can't imagine.
Seems like things have gone back to normal now. It must have been tough with COVID with all the masks with you guys, with Cranston Police.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was challenging for us, but I try not to lose sight of the fact that it was challenging for everybody. And my heart goes out to the people who've lost people due to that. I'm glad that we've got a better handle on it now, and we can return to a normal, back to a normal life. It's the Oak Lawn Avenue area. As you can see, Cranston, with having as much business as we have, are, we usually hover around 100,000 residents, but that can inflate to 250,
Wow.
300,000, any given time or day. It's a lot. It's a lot of people.
And people visiting the city in and out.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just look at the line of traffic.
That's right.
In here. Go ahead. It's funny when I'm in my personal car, everybody wants to get out in front of me. When I drive this car, everybody wants to drive behind me.
It's funny like that. Sergeant, just a moment to remind people, it is not legal to smoke cannabis and drive.
Oh, that's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Some people think, no, it's okay.
No, not
it's
at all.
not okay.
Not at all. Any type of impairment
Yep.
is not legal, and the Cranston police have officers who are trained
Yep.
drug recognition experts, and if you're found to be driving under the influence of cannabis, then you will face the same charges as you would if you drank alcohol and drove.
Oh.
So it's important for your listeners to know that,
Right.
Especially with all the changing in the laws. It's still not legal,
Right.
and those specially trained officers can detect impairment, whether it's smoked cannabis,
Yep.
cannabis that's eaten through edibles, any way to ingest cannabis. They're trained to detect the impairment. So just keep that in mind.
Yep.
And I think it's important for people to apply the same principles. Take a
Yep.
ride share.
Right. Another officer was saying they sometimes will say, it's okay, it's just pot. No, that's not okay.
Yeah, it's not okay. It's if you've altered your state of mind through, whether it's through cannabis, any type of narcotic, any type of alcohol, it's driving impaired.
Yep.
And it's all the same charge. We don't have different crime classifications for cannabis. We don't have different crime classifications for alcohol. It's all the same charge. And it's very serious. It's life altering if you get charged with DUI for some people.
Okay.
Um,
Queen 185, G5, Atwood, and
So, you could. It's your license to drive. It's your means to get to work, to drive your kids around. So, just be responsible.
Right. And just because the recreational is legal now, it doesn't mean it's legal to smoke and drive.
No.
To be treated like alcohol.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Be responsible.
I like that. No, it's okay. It's just pot.
Hopefully, yeah. No, it's okay. It's just pot. And hopefully that's something that, as this evolves,
Yeah.
the dispensaries can kind of get on board
Yeah.
and help us to kind of get the message out where, hey, it's legal now, but there are parameters. You can't. I mean, it seems like common sense as we talk about it right now. You can't say, well, it's just pot. If you're impaired, don't drive a car.
Right.
It's dangerous. People get hurt. People get killed.
and now it's wintertime, but there does seem to be more of a noticeable odor that you can definitely smell it around.
Oh, it's everywhere.
Wow.
It's everywhere.
Have you pulled over a vehicle and the vehicle smells like it?
Oh, absolutely. That was even a factor even before recreational cannabis became legal. It seems that a lot of the younger kids have driven around, smoked, or they'll drive to a parking lot somewhere, smoke, and then they'll be driving around and the car will just absolutely stink like marijuana. Yeah, it's pretty brazen.
It is brazen.
To think that, I can just do this and then drive around. So, we've had an appropriate response to it, someone's found to be driving around and they're impaired, and it's not really too hard to tell, especially when you walk up on a car and it stinks like marijuana. That smell doesn't go away very quick.
Right. It's Oaklawn Avenue. And this leads into what section of the city?
So this is right down here goes into the Knightsville section.
Yep.
Cranston Street. This is Atwood Avenue. Again, another pretty busy area with businesses, and so this is our Knightsville section. I'm sure a lot of your listeners are familiar with the St. Mary's Feast.
Yes.
It's always a good time.
That draws big crowds.
Huge crowds.
Yeah.
Huge crowds. They usually have a great. They finish it off with a great fireworks display. There's rides for the kids. They do a great. I mean, the food is fantastic, and everybody comes and just has a great time, young and old. I mean, there's stuff to do for kids.
No troublemakers in the crowd?
Every once in a while we get some.
Oh.
And we luckily the city affords us the ability to have a lot of police staff on hand. We've got fire department on hand, so we can usually quell any of those problems pretty quickly. And make it fun and safe for everybody.
Yeah, haven't seen any incidents of late of any types of problems.
No.
Folks, again, you're watching Cranston PD Live. Please share that you're watching. We're riding with Sergeant Parasol. It is Thursday afternoon. Almost Thursday evening. Getting back to crisis intervention, have you in the past encountered a situation you just get called and what you don't realize is inside is maybe a domestic dispute that's been building for a long time, and when the police arrive, suddenly it just goes like 0 to 60?
Oh yeah. A lot of times people will, they won't realize that when we arrive on scene, sometimes if there's probable cause for an arrest, we're mandated in the state of Rhode Island to make an arrest, and Sometimes that causes tempers to flare
Mm.
even higher than they were prior to our arrival.
Oh, wow.
People don't want to see their loved one get arrested. Oftentimes what'll happen is people will call and they'll say, "Oh, well, I don't want him arrested, or I don't want her arrested. I just want them taken out of here. Just
Yep.
Go to somebody else." Well, a lot of times we can't do that.
Right.
We're mandated by law to make an arrest if there was an assault or a vandalism, some other domestic related crime, and then people have that. Sometimes people might have a little bit of regret about calling us, and and they'll take it out on us.
I think we had a situation last week. It was mother, son, and then the mother's boyfriend. The mother, was arguing with whether it's the fiance or the new boyfriend or the new dad, and then he and the stepson got into it, and it got very, very physical.
Yeah.
I believe a knife was brandished.
Yep.
Wow. And that's all within, they're in an apartment, and that's the family. Wow.
A couple of years ago, we had a right over in that area that we just drove through. We actually had a murder.
Oh boy.
Gentleman and his wife or girlfriend, long time. The female's son was living in the house. He was kind of, he'd been a problem. He'd been a problem for the mother, a problem for the mother's boyfriend, and it led to ultimately, an argument where he was shot and killed by the mother's boyfriend.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah.
Right in the home?
Right in the home.
Huh.
Yep. So the tensions are very real when there are tensions like that inside the home. It's very dangerous because people don't have anywhere to go.
Right.
People, they're living with it day in and day out.
Yep.
And
it just builds.
Just builds and builds.
But you have to walk into that situation, Sergeant.
Yes. Yes, we do. That's what I was trying to get at before, when a lot of times we'll show up and, there's just so much history there. But, make sure, Johnston officer. All set, bud? All right. Oftentimes when again, this side of the street is Johnston, this side is Cranston, so like I said, we have a great working relationship with them, so we'll check up on them, make sure they're okay, they check up on us. But yeah, like I was saying, we get thrown into a situation that has years and years of history.
Yeah.
And we don't know what that history is.
No.
So, and we have
are they trying to explain to you the history that maybe things go back years?
Oh, they'll go all the way back to...
I mean, I see, please.
Somebody was late for Christmas dinner?
Yeah. And we understand, it's not that we're not sympathetic to what's been going on. It's just we can only deal with the situation that brought us there that night, and deal with that situation. So we're coming up on Dyer Avenue. This goes into our Arlington section. Right over here to the left is Silver Lake. This is right about the Providence line. It's down that way a little bit, but we're right on the line with Johnston and Providence over here.
And then Warwick on the other side.
And Warwick's on the other side, yes. which fortunately for us, you know, we've got a good relationship with all departments.
Oh,
We all work together. And,
be difficult if you didn't.
right. Yeah, well, we're all kind of steering the ship in the same direction.
Yeah. Does trouble sometimes start in one community and end up in another?
All the time.
Oh, it does.
All the
Wow.
time. Yeah, sometimes I think people will, you know, go from community to community and just thinking they're safe. Like, oh, I get out of Cranston, I'm on Go.
Right.
So, not the case.
Oh,
You know, one call over to another agency to assist us, and they're always more than willing to help. So,
Yep.
it's very rare that, you know, we don't get assistance. The only time that ever happens is if somebody, you know, if Providence is just, you know, flat out, and sometimes they're working multiple crime scenes, and, you know, their manpower is really depleted. They get very, very busy over there. Same with all departments.
right. So there's sometimes a situation disagreement maybe starts in Johnston but then ends up in Cranston.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Or starts in Providence but then they end up in Cranston. Wherever it may be. Yeah.
This is Laurel Hill Avenue, or
Yep.
Arlington section. Like I said, you know, there's a close proximity area to Providence, so, you know, sometimes we'll get a little crossover from an incident that happens in their city. But for the most part, quiet area.
Denver.
And this will bring us right out to Cranston Street.
Folks, again, coming up at almost 6 o'clock, you're watching Cranston PD Live. It is 1. We are riding along with Sergeant Parasolt on this Thursday evening.
So as you can see, during these hours, there's a lot of, with all the congestion in the city, there's a lot of traffic,
Yes.
problems, accidents,
Oh,
things like that. Sometimes between 4 and 6, people aren't necessarily home from work yet.
yep.
So once they get home,
203.
the call volume shifts a little bit.
Oh,
Child University, 695 Park Avenue for the alarm, coming in lower level motion.
Again, another business
Forking
alarm.
going.
oh,
A lot of times what happens is employees either opening up for the day or closing up shop
right.
might trip the alarm,
204.
Oh,
things like that. But you know, we'll always send an officer out to check it out,
oh,
make sure that there's nobody breaking in,
yep.
make sure that there's no signs that a break may have occurred. You know, broken windows, broken doors. We do get a lot of smash and grab crimes
Oh,
where people, you know, a lot of that happens obviously after the businesses have closed for the day. Wouldn't see a lot of that really this time of day because there's a lot of people around and people don't want to get caught, so those crimes tend to be a little bit later in the day.
oh. Must feel good though. The presence, the visibility acts as a deterrent and keeps crime down.
Yeah, it's kind of, you know, it's not really something that you can measure, but you know, you never know what could have happened.
Right.
So, but we stay out here and I think that, you know, that definitely helps.
203 one more time.
Careful.
Well, folks, we want to thank Sergeant Parasol. Sergeant, excellent job as always.
Thank you.
Well, not as always. First time riding with you.
Yeah.
But folks, this has been another episode of Cranston PD Live.